Story 1. I was admitted to a hospital in 2022, shortly after the full-scale invasion of my country began, for diabetes-related issues related to changes in my medication. A little girl I shared a room with bought a plastic surprise egg from a vending machine in the hallway and gifted me a bracelet featuring my country's coat of arms, colored blue and yellow. I was discharged and have moved often since then. We did not keep in touch, but I still wear the bracelet to this day. Story 2. Until 2020, I used to never leave the house without a full face of makeup. Then the lockdown happened. I felt uncomfortable for about a year without makeup, but eventually it became normal and seemed like a waste of time. It has been around 4 years since I wore makeup. I am not as confident, but over 40 years of relying on a false appearance takes time to readjust my mindset. Story 3. My watch. I received it for my 18th birthday. I am now 41 years old. It only comes off in the shower while swimming or during other activities. Story 4. I had a necklace around my neck for at least 25 years. I removed it a couple of years ago, and occasionally I still get feelings that the chain is hanging around my neck. It's sort of bizarre. I don't think about it often, but I am now. Story 5. I have severe combat post-traumatic stress disorder and tinnitus. I find that wearing a heavy set of headphones while listening to music can help on my difficult days. Story 6. I had an older sister who was severely disabled due to brain cancer. She passed away in 2016 and was cremated. I found a glass-blowing company that made a pendant with some of her ashes in it, mixed with our favorite colors, pink and purple. I never take it off unless I am going in for a procedure or surgery, and even then, I feel anxious without it. Story 7. Wedding ring. It has been on my finger for 18 years, 99.9% of the time, and it just feels strange without it. Story 8. I don't know if just keeping it clipped in my back pocket counts as wearing it, but I feel incomplete if I forget my knife. Story 9. I have had body jewelry in my body for over 30 years. I have had it almost twice as long as I have not had it. Story 10. I have been wearing 2 silver rings since I was about 15. I am in my 40s now, and I am more attached to them than to my wedding ring. I hope someday I will be buried with them. Story 11. My necklace has been with me for half my life. I look odd when it is missing. I had it repaired for a week and constantly reached for it, which drove me crazy. Story 12. I have a strong friendship bracelet I received from a comic convention about 3 or 4 years ago. It was during a time when lockdowns were uncertain, and someone gave it to me because they liked my cosplay. I tied it on and it hasn't come off since. Now, it has evolved into a single string, and it may harbor unknown germs, but I'm not taking it off until it falls off. Story 13. My glasses have been with me since 4th grade. When I had my cataracts done, I had to wait a month to get a new prescription due to my improved vision. I could see everything perfectly except up close. I kept trying to take them off at bedtime and reaching for them when waking up. Story 14. My parents bought me a small gold ring with all 3 of our birthstones on it. I cannot remember if it was for my 18th birthday or for my college graduation. I love it. I essentially put it on and then never took it off. Now I'm pregnant, and my fingers are swelling, so it no longer fits. I had to take it off and store it carefully in my jewelry box, where I constantly check to ensure it's still there because I am paranoid. My post-pregnancy fitness goal is to be able to wear my ring again. Story 15. My glasses. I only remove them to sleep and shower. Sometimes I don't take them off when I shower, and I don't wash my face. Story 16. Earrings. I have had my ears pierced since I was 4.5, and I always wear them, so it feels very wrong without them. I also wear sunglasses because everything is too bright. Story 17. My mom made a copper wire bracelet. I found it in her belongings after she passed away and put it on immediately. Since then, I have only taken it off for repairs and for surgery. Story 18. My brimless caps. I used to have beautiful hair, but as thinning and balding have set in, I just buzz or shave my head and wear these caps. With few exceptions, it has been brimless caps for several years now. Story 19. I have a ring that my friend's dad made for all of us girls when we were in 6th grade. He took a nut, like those used in nuts and bolts, and crafted a smooth, round ring from it. I have no idea how. I've worn it every day since. Story 20. I wrote a song about this. Story 21. I literally wrote a song about this. Story 22. I don't think I've left my house without a pen in my pocket for over 20 years. Someone always asks, "Do you have a pen?" I've got you covered. Story 23. A pocket knife. I have had one with me almost every day since I was about 12 years old. The longest time without one was 3 months during boot camp in 1995. Story 24. I have 2 steel bracelets that my beloved gifted me. I used heavy vice grips to fit them to my wrist. They'll stay there until I die. Story 25. My COVID mask. I went to the shop about a month ago without it. I felt exposed. It's a small item under my chin, but when I went to the local shop without it, it felt strange since we have worn masks for so long. Story 26. A necklace of some kind. The only reason I do not intentionally sleep with it is because of all the times I have woken up to find it tangled in my hair, broken, or knotted and choking me. Story 27. I used to always wear a watch, but half a year ago, I met my beautiful girlfriend who gave me her hairband. It has never left my wrist since. We don't get to see each other very often, but every time I look at it, I think of her. Story 28. Mascara. I feel undressed if I leave the house without any on, although I am happy to go without other forms of makeup. Story 29. I tried wearing contacts but nearly had an anxiety attack from the thought that a car could throw a stone and hit my eye. I'm much happier wearing my glasses. Regarding my wedding ring, it has been on for 20 years, and I don't like the feeling when it's off. Story 30. I have a necklace that I received from my grandfather when he was alive. I wear it daily and have done so for at least 25 years. I can't imagine what I would do if anything were to happen to it. Story 31. I cannot leave the house without my watch. Even if I drive just a couple of blocks away, if I don't have it on my left wrist, I turn around and go back to get it. Story 32. Glasses. The worst part is that I not only feel unprepared without them, but I am also essentially blind, a double whammy. Story 33. A bow in my hair. People often made fun of my hair. My grandmother did the best she could with it, but biracial hair can be difficult to manage. One day, I told a girl I liked her bow because it made her look pretty. She gave it to me and said, "You can be pretty too now." I almost cried, but now I wear a bow in my hair every day. Story 34. My watch is an old Rolex Submariner that my dad bought new in 1983. He wore it for years and gifted it to me for my 40th birthday. I have worn it almost every day for about a decade. Story 35. I wear a medical alert necklace for health emergencies related to hemophilia. It contains my condition, contact information, and medication details. I have been wearing it constantly for over 20 years, ever since college. I never take it off unless I get a new one. Story 36. Rings in general, but more specifically my Clado ring. I wear the same 8 to 9 rings every day. Occasionally, I switch 1 or 2 out, but all of my fingers are permanently indented and have tan lines from their respective rings. The Clado ring never changes though. It only comes off when I shower or swim. Yes, I know that is a lot of rings. I am like a crow. I like shiny things. Story 37. Since 1999, I have worn a 16th century Spanish silver coin, mounted in a plain frame and displayed on a heavy serpentine silver chain around my neck. This coin, reminiscent of pieces of 8, associated with pirate treasure, was salvaged from the Atacha shipwreck. It was a gift from my writing partner and closest friend when we lived on a horse farm outside St. Augustine, Florida. Coins from the Atacha were not very expensive at the time, and it does not look like anything special unless you know its significance or age. Whenever I have to remove it for a test or procedure, I feel anxious until I can put it back on. It reminds me of a friendship that has lasted over 35 years, filled with many adventures, both good and bad. Story 38. I have been wearing the same rings since I was 16 years old. I am now 40. I cannot imagine not having them on. Story 39. I have been married for 10 years, and before my husband, I had 3 boyfriends who gave me this beautiful necklace. I wear it nearly every day. I took it off for our wedding day and a few other occasions, but for the most part, I always have it on. Story 40. In 1993, I received an Until There's a Cure bracelet in memory of my late partner. In the more than 30 years since, our scientists and government still haven't come up with a cure for AIDS. Aside from a hospital stay and some MRIs, I have never taken it off. Story 41. 3 bracelets linked together on my right wrist make up my wedding set. I only take them off to shower, but if I forget to put them back on, I don't feel right. Story 42. I wore a choker for 7 years that my former best friend gave me. It was both sad and liberating when I decided to remove it from my wardrobe after we had a falling out. Story 43. Knee brace. I need compression to feel stable with torn ligaments in my knee. Even when it feels fine, I like wearing it as a reminder to be careful since I never want to have another anterior cruciate ligament reconstruction. Currently, I have a fully torn posterior cruciate ligament, tears in both medial collateral ligaments, and a tear in one lateral collateral ligament. Story 44. I have a silver crescent moon necklace my husband bought for me when we were dating. I never take it off. It has been about 10 years. Story 45. My glasses are essential. Without them, I can't see anything and end up walking into almost everything and everyone around me. Story 46. My Apple Watch. I lost it and now I feel lost without it at work. I forget so much more than I should. I was always setting timers or taking vital signs. If a message came through while I was busy, I could still read it without taking my phone out and risking trouble for having it out. It helped me keep track of my steps and burned calories. If my heart rate started acting up, it would let me know. I really missed that watch. Story 47. A watch. Always a cheap Casio. I might replace it every 5 years or so, but I feel incomplete without it. It remains on in the shower, while swimming, or wherever I go. Perhaps the only time I remove it is when necessary, such as for a medical imaging procedure, or during those uncomfortable moments when I need to buy a new watch. Story 48. I carried my phone while my mother was dying from cancer. Every time it made a noise, I dreamed of looking at it. I carried it for a year. Finally, she passed away and I still carry it everywhere. I almost panic if I don't have it with me. Story 49. I have a Leatherman Wave multi-tool that sits in a belt holster that I use almost every day at work. When I can't wear it, I feel somewhat unprepared. Story 50. Earrings. It doesn't matter what kind. I feel more exposed without earrings than I do without clothes. Story 51. 3 Pura Vida bracelets are tied together on my left wrist. Each one has special meaning to me, and I never take them off. It's been nearly 8 years now. Story 52. A necklace my boyfriend gave me. The first one I had was from our second Christmas together. I wore it for so long that the crystals started to fall off. He got me a new one last Christmas to replace it. I only take it off at night now. Story 53. I have a silver AES Sedai Great Serpent ring and my wedding set. When I forget to wear them, I feel exposed. I had to stop wearing the engagement ring because I lost the main stone at work. No worries, it was an amethyst that was damaged. Someday I will upgrade. Story 54. A bra. I am rather large in the chest area, and I never leave home without wearing one. When I take it off after a long day of pressure on my ribs and shoulders, it feels like heaven. However, if I go out in public without it, it feels like being exposed in front of all my high school bullies. Story 55. My tongue piercing has been with me since I got it at 19. Now, at almost 33, I have removed other piercings over the years and would like to be piercing-free at some point. However, when I consider taking this one out, it just feels wrong. Story 56. Invisalign. I have completed my treatment and have moved into the phase of wearing retainers only at night. I dislike how my mouth feels during the day. My teeth are very sharp. Story 57. My wedding ring has a significant history. My first marriage ring was on my finger for 23 years before it broke one day. That felt like an omen since my wife passed away 2 years later. After that, I wore a black titanium band until I lost so much weight that it fell off. Later, I remarried, and now I have a gold ring again. Feels strange without that weight on my finger. Story 58, my pearl earrings. I forgot to put them on the other day, and I felt strange and somewhat incomplete all day. I don't know why they matter to me so much, but I do love them. Story 59, glasses. I have worn them since I was a toddler, and although my vision isn't terrible without them, I definitely feel exposed without them. Story 60. Shortly after September 11th, all Port Authority employees received a World Trade Center pin that resembled two American flags. I wore it every day for 10 years. If I didn't have it on, I would nearly panic. Story 61. When I go out, I always wear a hoodie or jacket. Can feel strange to be dressed without one. Story 62. The necklace my father gave my mother in 1967 on her 18th birthday is the one I wear most often. While I have other necklaces, I wear that one 90% of the time. Story 63. I have had glasses since the first grade. I cannot see without them, and the first indication that I needed them was when I complained about not being able to read the chalkboard at school. I tried to switch to contact lenses as a teenager, but it felt too strange to have a bare face and to miss the clarity that my glasses provided. Ultimately, I decided to stop using the lenses. Story 64. My watch. I never used to wear one, but after I started, it feels unusual to leave the house without it. It gives me a feeling that something is missing from my wrist. Story 65. After joining the army, I couldn't leave the house without my dog tags. It got to the point where I would turn around and go back to get them. Years later, I joined the National Guard and kept wearing them even when I wasn't on duty. I decided I would wear them until the day I died. The day after I retired, I took them off and hung them in my safe. I wore them for 23 years and haven't worn them since. Story 66. I have an old sweatshirt that I love and wear it all the time. I probably wash it 3 times a week. I wear it with my essential sweatpants, and I wear those too much as well. Summer is coming, and I know I'll still wear it. It's just so comfortable, fits perfectly, and looks pretty ragged. Meanwhile, I have 2 closets and a store full of clothes, but that's what I'd want to be buried in someday. Story 67. Eyeliner. I will be 72 next month, but I am still wearing my eyeliner, especially the bottom liner, which is my signature look. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.